can be so frustrating to have a student look you in your face and telling you, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the assignment. They take the assignment, they throw it to the floor, or they blatantly fold their hands and give you the look, or some just ignore you and act as if you never said anything to them at all. These are just a few examples of a defiant student. In today's video, I am sharing 4 strategies that you can do to address and manage defiant student behaviors in your classroom. Coming up next. Hey everybody, Michelle Holiday here. I am a behavior strategist and I help teachers with strategies and tips to help them manage their classrooms and their students with less stress and less struggle. And in today's video, we are talking all about defiant student behaviors. A defiant student is a student who willfully and intentionally refuses to do what you have asked them to do. Now, from my perspective, there are 2 levels of this. You have the overtly defiant student who will be blatant and loud and make it very well known to you and whoever's in the room that they are not going to do what you ask them to do. But you also have what I call the undercover defiant student. I have actually had students who responded respectfully, no thank you, when I asked them to do the work or when I told them to do the work. They said, no, I'm good, that's all right. Yes, they were respectful, they weren't loud, they didn't use any bad words, but they still did not follow the direction. They still would not do the work. So now that we have a working definition, let's get started towards those strategies. Strategy number 1, meet the situation with calm. There is no need to meet the student's energy level when it comes to their defiance. So just because they give you an attitude, just because they're rude, and just because they respond to you in a disrespectful way does not mean that you have to respond in kind in the same way. So I'm saying to you, be the calm in the situation. Don't meet them at that level. You actually meet them below the level. Be calm, be steady. One way to be calm in this situation is to already have an idea of what your go-to response will be, or already have an idea of what strategies you will use in the face of their defiance. There is nothing that helps you be calm like knowing what you're going to do ahead of time. Strategy number 2, reduce the interactions. There are some students who love the power struggle, and when they're being defiant, they want to show you, hey, I don't have to do what you say, when you say it, and how you say it. And so they're willing to go back and forth with you in this power struggle interaction. I'm saying to you, reduce that by only giving your direction once, twice, no more than 3 times. And then you need to move on to your rewards and your consequences. Move on to your classroom management system. If you don't have a classroom management system, check out the link below, and I'll be sharing some resources of how to help you create and develop your own system. But you need to be able to say what you're going to say once to maybe no more than 3 times, and then move on to the rest of the class and move on to the rewards and consequences of your management system. Continuing the power struggle conversation is not necessary. You are the one in authority, and you don't have to prove it to your student by engaging with them back and forth. Strategy number 3, give teacher-approved options. Many students who demonstrate this defiant behavior may be operating from a need for power and control. Some teachers feel like, well, if they're not going to follow any of my direction, then they're getting absolutely nothing from me. But here's the thing, they're still in your classroom. So what are you going to do? You're going to feed the need, which can look like giving them a sense of power and control by offering them options to choose. I can already hear it. Some teachers are like, that's exactly what they want. They want their way. By offering teacher-approved options, you are not fully giving the student their way. Why? Because you are the one that created the option, and you are the one that is offering these options to them. So who is really in control? It is you. But to feed that need, because an unmet need does not die, it gets louder, it gets stronger. Sometimes it gets more aggressive, right? What you want to do is say, okay, you have some choices. You can do A or B. By offering them a choice, this gives students some option of power in their situation. There are going to be some students who are like, I don't want either A or B. Then you need to withdraw the option and move forward. And this strategy can be powerful because it shifts the student from doing nothing to actually doing something. Here's one little tip when giving choices. Try not to deliver the choices in a demeaning way, and try to give them options that are realistic, that will spark the start of actually doing something in your classroom. If you make one of the choices a really big task, they're typically not going to take you up on that offer. Strategy number 4, use your classroom management system, specifically the incentives and the consequences in your system. Although we can't make students behave, we can motivate them to make better choices. And part of that motivation is offering rewards or incentives, but also delivering consequences that they have earned due to their behavior. One consequence I've used often for Defiant students is owed time, meaning the time that they've wasted not following the direction is now owed to me at another time, preferably during a preferred activity, which means you're going to have some preferred activities in your classroom during the school day, the school week, or the school month. During the owed time, when other students are doing things that they would prefer to do, whether it's computers or social time or arts and crafts, whatever that looks like for you in your classroom, the Defiant student now owes that time where they can make up the work that they've missed, or they can engage in some type of reflection activity that you have provided for them to complete. For some examples of incentives and consequences you can use in your classroom, I've left a link below for some downloadable resources. Whatever strategy you choose to use, don't forget to be consistent. Consistency is the packaging that wraps all of these things together and makes all of these things work. So be the calm, be consistent, and be strategic. There you have it, 4 strategies that you can use to address and manage Defiant student behaviors. Quick question for you. What has been your experience with Defiant students in your classroom? Leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it, and I'll see you next time.